We want to go into our conversation with Peggy and see how she has been how she has had the opportunity to ignite the spark within her. Especially, I admire Peggy a lot. She is one of my heroes because Peggy doesn't. As I grow younger, as I grow younger, I tell my grandbabies I'm growing younger. You're
Es la
getting
juventud
older.
acumulada.
And so as I do that, I look up to you, Peggy. You inspire me so much. You have no idea how much you inspire me because you have that spark within you. And as I was thinking about who should I invite to our conversation today, I said to myself, it has to be somebody that inspires me, that I can see that is actually a picture of igniting that spark within all the time, no matter what. Especially when I've been at the convention of Las Americas for since 2015, and I don't recall a time when I have seen you like you don't have that spark. And I always ask myself, how the heck does she does it? How the heck does she does it? She seems like nothing's happening and she just know how to do it, what to do. And it has that flair about her, that fire in her. And so today I was just like, it has to be about bringing somebody that can bring that to our audience because we know that at least I'm going to speak for myself. There's times that I have been inspired to do different projects, and sometimes along the way when things don't go my way, okay, or the way I think or the way I plan things to be, it seems like my spark goes down, and I need something to help me to ignite that fire within myself, to remind me what is the purpose of this project that I'm working. Even with our center, with One Love Center, there has been so much changes, right, in the world. With the pandemic, we had a lot of changes. We had to do a lot of shift, and we had to learn how to keep that fire within us alive. We had to and align ourselves and find ways to to keep that for others, right? Because the world was going through a lot of changes too. So we needed to keep it for others as well, not just for ourselves, but for others. So I think it's so important for us to remember that and to keep that in mind. And so the question that I have for you, Peggy, how do you do that? How do you keep that fire, that inspiration alive, regardless of the conditions or the situations that you seem to bump into? Because I know you do.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you, Ellen, for your wonderful accolades and compliments, and hope I can live up to it with Reverend Rodney when he comes, because Reverend Rodney's coming. Your community better come with him, right?
Yes.
Um, to the Convention of the Americas in August this year. So I've always kind of felt like the way that I get ignited, I don't know, this might or might not work for everyone else, but I've often observed that in my world, the things that really spark me, or that fan the flame of the spark that's already in there, is what makes me cry and what pisses me off. So if I can kind of recognize that I'm in one of those experiences, then I know there's maybe something that's calling to me.
Hmm.
Um, that this is that, because we know how it's our emotions that really are being tapped into when we talk about igniting the fire. And so if I'm in a situation where the emotion is rising, then what that about, um, and so I look at that. If I'm smart, I pay some attention to what it is, what am I feeling, why, what's that about, and recognize that maybe there's something there I'm supposed to look at.
Mm,
You know, I've often felt like, or my belief, I guess, really is that emotions are like signals.
mm,
They're little banners, trying to get our attention for something. And we don't maybe know what that something is. But I choose to believe that it's always at a spiritual level, something that God's trying to get my attention about or
mm,
wants me to pay attention to, and maybe perceive that there's something there that I'm being called to. Maybe I'm being called to heal something in myself, that it's an awareness about something going on that, that I need to pay attention to. I am one of these people that had to learn these lessons at a level where, the type A kind of personality that just wants to press on and dominate and just, kind of power through things and not feel the feeling. Um, that brings me to that moment, you know,
mm,
and I really truly believe that it's always about some revelation that I might be missing out on if I don't stop and pay attention. But there was a time, and there probably still is a lot of that in me too, that this day that just keeps pressing on. And there's a part of that with the convention too that you mentioned. But the pressing on is more a matter of responding in the moment and moving through to the next indicated thing.
mm.
Um, because you can't, there's not enough time in that event to stop and get unhappy or panicky or whatever. It just requires the calm approach of awareness. These are things that I think about. What are the obstacles that you mentioned or the things that show up, right? I call it when I hit the wall or when something is up that needs to be dealt with, that a perceived obstacle or perceived challenge or perceived problem. Um, it's about calling what I call for AAA. I call on AAA. And the AAA is aware is the first A. So I have to get aware about what's really happening. The second is I have to accept. At some level, I cannot make a change or cannot make a response unless there's an acceptance of what is in that moment. And whether that's a bold decision or a bold, the audacity that we're talking about here in the theme for the boldness, it takes a certain amount of boldness to be willing to do all of these things, to call the AAA, to become aware of something, to be willing to accept what is. That my resistance or my upset or my whatever, or like you said a minute ago, was not my way, or it didn't go the way I had thought it would, or it's not my preference, whatever those words that you were using a minute ago in your description. It's just simply okay, because it's got to be okay because it happened. This is God's divinity, right? Showing up as the divine order of something. So the divine order that's mine is to decide what can I bring to the moment. I like to look at it from the standpoint of, not what's in it for me in the moment, but what's in me for it
Mm,
in this moment. That
mm,
I'm here, it happened, I'm called to it, I take my responsibility for it, and then I make a decision about what action I feel I'm guided to take.
mm.
But
That's
it's listening to
that's
that guidance too. That the stop to think, to stop and feel, and to know that the knower knows, and there is a response, there is an answer, there is a truth here, and when I want to look at it properly, it'll show up.
mm. That brings me to a quote that we have here from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind on page 335. It says, "Someday we shall learn to lay our burdens on the altar of love, that that they may be consumed by the fire of faith in the living Spirit." As you
Yeah.
were speaking, I said, wow, this is a perfect quote to bring out because you were really speaking to this quote. You were really speaking to lay our
Mm-hmm.
burdens on the altar of love, right? Or give it to God because there's not much that we can do as we become aware of it, lay it out and say, okay, God, what is it that I'm here to do? Or at least I've learned to do that. I'm learning more and more and more to trust the divine love, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, universe, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. But you know that there are things that are out of our control. And
Mhm.
so once we become aware of that, um, acknowledge our feelings. That's what you say, acknowledge our feelings, and then let divine love show us the way,
Right.
show us the way. And so as we do that, we can move with graciousness, right? Because you look so
Yeah.
gracious when I see you at the convention. You look so gracious, you look so like calm, and I'm just like, wow, you know you look so calm, like no one will ever know what's really happening behind the scenes.
Well, the calmness comes from the well of the depth of trust and faith
Hmm.
in relationship to when you're mentioning a minute ago about turning it over to God, and to love. Uh, well, you don't like turn it over with this hand and say, "Well, give me that part back." Um, it's a complete kind of a surrender to what is, and the event that we're talking about here, that we're reflecting on as our analogy, is just simply evolving in its own life. It's taken on a life of its own, as does most anything in our world. When you say we don't have control over most things, yeah, we don't have control really over much of anything, if you get
Mhm.
right down to it. But we do have control over how we choose to respond or where we come from.
Mm.
Who am I in this moment? And I want to, and I aspire to. This is part of what we're talking about too, with this idea of inspiration. Is, to me, I always look at it as, what is it that I aspire to, and what it is it that inspires me to aspire to it, and then what am I willing to perspire for to get it.
Mm.
So to me, it's like there's the inspiration, the aspiration, and the perspiration part of it. And in order to stay at that level, because you think about, well, what's throwing water on the fire, what's dampening the fire, is kind of what you're saying, and how do you get that spark back up again. Well, I think the things that dampen the fire are when I get into me, instead of looking at this larger part of what I'm part of. I get into me, or, I don't know enough. I don't have enough time. I didn't do enough. I don't trust enough. I don't have the time, the energy, the whatever. And that's where that's sort of like, or it's too much perspiration, maybe, that I don't want to do the work. That's another thing we hold back from, that I'm pretty good at holding back from, that I don't want to do my work, or I don't want to do the work, whatever the event requires or whatever. But I like to believe that it's easy, loving, and gentle when I let go. When I let go of what my idea was, or what my preference
Mm.
was, or what my opinion was.
Mm.
I'm kind of hard headed. I came from Missouri. You've ever heard about the Missouri mules? They say that we're pretty stubborn in Missouri, and I think I am one of those mules. So it's taken me a lifetime to get to where I am. I've given up my life to be where I am today, right? You talk about my age, and you're looking at my age as something that you aspire to move through at this level. Well, it takes every bit of that, and you're
Yeah.
doing the job, Ellen. Don't worry, you got it.
Uh, yeah.
But those are the things that I think we forget our practices sometimes. We forget to practice that prayer, that meditation. Um, like, the quote here that I like, out of the quotes that you provided me, that I guess you're looking at this one: prayer leads one to a place of mental acceptance, but prayer without faith is ineffectual. And faith elevates the prayer to conviction and acceptance. And I'm doing that. You think I'm there just being nice and quiet, but I'm really trying to elevate my consciousness, or I'm trying to hold consciousness for the event or the circumstance or the issue that's up, or whatever's happening, that, you know, somebody um, seems to be not quite showing up to do what they're supposed to do, or what have you. You just have to let those things be, and recognize that faith and trust in God, and the love that is God, is going to be what's happening in front of me. And if I pull myself out of that, or allow others to pull themselves out of that, we're not available to that moment. We miss that moment.
Mm,
even though it may appear to be, oh, I didn't want that one, you know. Um, it's, I guess what I say about obstacles too is that if it's in my way, it's on my way.
mm,
And that's for me to decide what that may need to look like. But it's showing up in my world. I have to accept that there is a reason, that there's a possibility there that I'm needing to explore, become aware of, accept, and then take action on of
mhm,
my triple A.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Peggy, the question that comes to me is, have you, when you first started, especially when you first started doing service for our Latino community, for our Latino ministry, participating and coordination and helping with the Convention of Las Americas in 2014. Do you see a difference between that Peggy and the Peggy of today?
I hope so. It's a lot of years that wouldn't want to say no. I don't see any difference, right? Um, but I think that is a story. That is part of my story of inspiration, of taking action on the inspiration. Um, what may be applied for me can apply for others, but I was fairly new. I mean, I think I came in the doors of New Thought about 1992, something like that.
Okay.
Took me 10 years to finally decide and to get my practitioner license, but it actually took me 6 years to get the license because the minister left my center. We had to wait for another one. It took a year to get one. I mean, the story of just my inspiration that I finally got the hit. And then I had to have not only the inspiration and the aspiration and the perspiration, but I had to have the dedication to go through that process of waiting and maturing and allowing God to show me that this wasn't God's delay. It was just God. It was not God's denial just because it looked to be God's delay. And so by the time I got my practitioner's license, it was early 2000s. And there was my opportunity to figure out, all right, now what do I do?
Mm,
And I was invited on this trip to Mexico from, well, the minister that was there at that time, after I had finished my practitioner licensing. She was she had worked with Kathy Hearn. She was Kathy Hearn's teacher. And so at that time, Kathy Hearn was the spiritual leader of the international movement called Centers for Spiritual Living, which was at that time United Church of Religious Science. But she had been invited by Kathy to go on this little jornada, this journey down to Mexico to see what was going on with Centers for Spiritual Living extending out in the outreach in Mexico. And she said, I can't go on this trip, but I think you should go. And I said, I think I should too. It just felt like the right thing to do. So there, I took the call initially to do that. And then on the trip, there were about 30 people, most of whom were ministers in the Centers for Spiritual Living, but a few practitioners. And there were 5 of us who were bilingual, and really only one of whom was a true native speaker. And so that gave me an idea that, there's more that I could do with this. And I'm not a native speaker, but, I can get by in the language and I could help with this maybe. So I had seen that initially. Then when we went to Mexico City as part of the tour, and Rebecca Pina was there, and I saw the work that she was doing and the inspiration that she was and still is. That's why I said I have to go get the Kleenex, right? I might have this kind of thing happen. But that's where the inspiration is, what makes me cry or what pisses me off, because it's not that easy to do either one of those things in my world. And that's why I know that's a signal.
mhm,
Pay attention, pay attention.
mhm,
And
mhm,
we came back from that trip, the 5 of us who had bonded together because people were, we had become a translation team sort of to help people on the trip. And 4 of us decided that we were going to help Rebecca Pena. with what she wanted to do. One of us was a minister. She could get what I called a position of infiltrating at home office. And the other three of us, myself included, as practitioners, we could help teach, we could help, we could travel, we could help. And Janice Deaton, who was from San Diego, La Jolla, and uh, Michelle Tiernan, Michelle Durand Tiernan, were practitioners in that area. They worked on building Corazon Global. The name of the tour that we took that had been given a name was Corazon Global.
Mm.
That means the global heart. And so they founded that center in Tijuana, which is still going today. And I went there a couple times to help teach classes in the certified classes. Michelle Tiernan ended up teaching the first practitioner generation there. But because the other person was from Albuquerque, whom I'd never met before, Reverend Jenny Gall, who also was a totally inspirational person. So we had all these people that were inspired together. And I think that's a piece of what can help with inspiration too, is when you got a posse, when you got a gang, when you, like you with me at the convention, when you have the support and you feel like the inspiration is still there and it still can be re-invited into the room by people who are inspired by that. That's what we have with the team that's working for this event as well. And I just invite everybody to come. I'm sure I'm about to run out of time here with you, but
No, I think that you have touched in a lot of points that we wanted to cover, so it's just perfect. It's beautiful. Um, I just wanna add this quote that I have here with Ernest Holm also on page Science of Mind also on 159. It says, not only must we have complete faith in spirit and its ability to know and to do, but we must have complete confidence in our approach to it.
mhm,
We must not be lukewarm in our conviction. We must know that we know. And when I saw this, I had to bring this quote. I cannot leave it out because I know that one of the things that keeps our fire going is knowing, is having that
right,
conviction that
mhm,
regardless of what is happening, we know that divine love, God is backing us up, is backing us up in
right,
our ministry, is
yeah,
backing us up in what's happening. I think that that's one of the reasons why I tell Reverend Rodney all the time, I'm going to be here with One Love Center until you decide that you don't want to have One Love Center no more.
well, because you called to it. This is part of what we're talking about. When you have the lack of confidence, this is really the part of the theme here. I think is that this sacred boldness is that when you have the lack of confidence, the fact that you have the idea that God has got your back and that you are on sacred ground no matter what you're doing, and that if it's calling to you because you have the passion for it or you feel the inspiration and the spark's been ignited, why would you say you're not the one?
Yeah, yeah,
We have to accept that that is part of the divine order, that it's been revealed to us that it's ours to do, and not hold back and say, well, I don't have all the, or I shouldn't, or like what I said about, I'm not a native speaker, and so I never have felt like I would be the teacher for native speakers. um, but they put up with me a little bit, and we get the job done. And that's really what it's about. So it's not about, me being less than confident in my capacity of the language or any of that. It's about show up in love, and the rest of it takes care of itself.
yeah. The rest, God takes care of it. That's
Hmm.
for sure. That's
Hmm.
what that's what has been my experience. And the more I trust, I think that the trusting, right, trusting and having the conviction is very important because. And that can only be with practice. I like to leave our our audience with some practices. I always like to give some practices because it seems like we know, we have come to where we are today, but it has been a process, right? It has been a process, and this
Mhm.
is something that we build each day, and it goes with daily practices. It cannot do it doesn't happen overnight, because we are in on a journey, right? And because we're on a journey, it's an ongoing process. And the idea, you said something on, I'm going to paraphrase here, you said something about the conviction comes because we are willing to do the work, right?
Mhm.
We are willing to do the work. And so the first thing that we must do is really open ourselves to the idea that we are the ones that divine love has chosen for
Mhm.
this work, and divine love will just open the doors for us so it could be perfect
Right.
regardless of what it looks like. Let's not worry about the conditions. Let's not worry about what the problem is. Let's just be open and be prayerful and have the conviction that everything's going to work out for its own good, right? Everything's going to work out. um I
Mhm.
was I would to like, for example, today I was ready to just take care of everything, but then out of nowhere I got some assistance, like I was telling Reverend Romani. Oh, I don't know, I was panicking for a moment when I saw that June was around the corner, and I had been too busy with my little ones, with my grandbabies, and when I have them around, I just tend to forget about everything. I was like, Reverend Ronnie, I don't have a guest for the Sunday that I'm supposed to be hosting, and I just don't know who the heck to connect. So can you please help me out here? And that's what I'm talking about. The fact that I have the faith, and the knowing that I'm gonna be supported no matter what, right?
Well, and
It's that
allowing that
conviction.
support, asking for that support, and allowing it to show up.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. So what I want to say to you guys that are listening to us today is be open to be supportive. Ask for support. And if you're not part of a community, make sure that you find a community. We would love for you to be part of our community, but just find one that works for you. And so, make sure that you keep your heart open, your heart, your mind, your whole being open to divine charge. Be the channel, be an open channel, right?
Right, right, right. And if I could, I would like to invite everyone to be bold enough to consider coming to Chapala, Jalisco, Mexico, for the Convention of the Americas, August 6th through 10th. And if there are other people on the call who are ministers and not call, but on the show that are ministers and practitioners, we have a special day on the 5th. I don't know if you have a way to do it because I don't know how to work the StreamYard stuff, Ellen, if you have it, but it's www.conventionoftheamericas.com
Hmm.
is where you could go to find out about it, to register for it. We'd love to have you consider coming. We'd love to see some of Reverend Rodney's other community members want to be a part of what we're doing there, and know that it is multicultural, bilingual, simultaneously translated, like, your headset at the UN. You do not have to
Right.
speak either Spanish or English to get the right meaning. And the language of love is always understood and spoken there.
That's right. That's right. Yes, I must say yes. That's what really got me hooked into the community too. And
Right.
I remember Reverend Rodney actually reminded me the other, a few months ago. He said, when I first met you, you said that you wanted to you were so clear. You said that you wanted to become a practitioner, but that you wanted to serve the Latino community. That's what you wanted. And look what you're doing. So, and that I completely forgot about it, but he remembered. He remembered, and he reminded me that I was doing what I came for. Like I was so clear. This, because my thinking is these teachings are so powerful. This philosophy is so
Right.
powerful that
Mhm.
I want my roots, my community to know about this, because for me it's a spiritual liberation. It's a
Well, I
spiritual
think it
liberation.
definitely has been, from what I've observed of what the decisions and the changes and the choices that you've made in your life, Ellen, and the in the years that I've known you are just so inspirational and so aspirational, you know. I really appreciate all of who you are and how you show up.
Oh, thank you, Peggy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So
So
One Love
my
Center is super lucky to have you for as
I
long
think
as
it's
you do want to stay.
I think I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere. but um but guys, thank you so much, Peggy, for being here with us, for sharing your
You're
knowledge,
very
for sharing
welcome.
your inspiration. And now, my friends, I would like you to take a moment. We're gonna do some affirmations, and then we're gonna go into our treatment. We call it affirmative prayer. Okay, so just allow yourself to be in the space. Take a deep breath. Okay, take a deep breath. And the first affirmation is, I am embracing every moment with passion and purpose. Take that in. Peggy, help us with the second one.
I just muted myself so I could say that other one with you. It is so that I am continuously growing and evolving into the best version of myself.
Mhm.
Here, here.
Yes, 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 yes. The best version. I love it. Take a deep breath. It is so that I am confidently pursuing my dreams and creating my own happiness. And
And
so it
so it
is,
is,
and
and
now it
now it is.
is. And so, in that space of opening yourself to divine love, to speaking your truth, to speaking our truth, to speaking my truth, I know that there's only one power, one mind. And what I know is that this divine power, I call it God, I call it love, I call it divine love, universe, energy. And I want you that are listening to us right now or later, that when I say I am speaking about you as well. So I know that this divine love, this divine power, it is one as me. And as I recognize this true about me, I know that I have the power to manifest, to to experience the life that divine love has planned for itself. I am here to live life fully. I am here to be healthy, to be whole, to be prosperous, to be abundant in everything, in every area of my life. There is no lack and limitation in any of the areas of my life. I am enjoying life fully. I am flowing with ease and grace. I say yes to divine love. I say yes to the inspiration as it ignites every cell in my being. It ignites every cell, says yes. Yes to the service, yes to the experience, yes to the love, yes to the help, yes to the abundance, yes to the financial abundance, yes to the love in every form, in every relationship, in everything and everywhere I go, with everyone that I speak. I am that example of love. I am that example of joy. I am that example of being what I'm here to be. I give thanks for this knowing. I am knowing that each one of those of you that are listening to this service today are being blessed. Your loved ones are being blessed, and you are open, and you are opening yourself to the love and to the flow of abundance, of grace, of joy. And we breathe and we take in all these blessings. We accept it. We open our hearts to accept this truth about each one of us, as this is who we are. This is whose we are. There's nothing that I have spoken about that is not in you already. All is there for us to do is to say yes and to open our hearts to it, to accept it, to become aware of it, and to let it be in our lives and to just be it. I give thanks for this and so much more, and I let it be. And so it is, and now it is. Ashe, amen.
And so it
Hmm.
is.
Okay, my dear ones. So now I want to invite you um, to let our listeners, our audience, our community, to know how they can get in touch with us if they are needing prayer. So what you're doing is that if you're looking to have prayer, all you have to do is to make sure that you connect with us. Make sure that you go to our website and you can send an email and we will get an email, or you can also contact us by going to 1-800 1-800 not 1-800 let's see,
894
844
511.
844 295 5155, and know that we keep your prayers for 7 days. We pray for you for 7 days. Your prayers are confidential. No one knows about these prayers that you send us. Only the person that will be praying for you know this prayer. And so we believe in prayer because we know the power of prayer. I know the power of prayer. I could not do without it. That's what sustains me. That's what guides me. And we as prayer professionals here in One Love Center, we know the truth for you. And so that's why you want to make sure that you ask one of us, use us, like Reverend Ronnie always says, use us, and make sure that you send your prayers so we can pray for that condition, for that situation that you would like to see a shift in. Okay. And more importantly, to be open, to be shifted. You have to believe in it, because if you don't believe about it, then it ain't gonna work. So the next thing that I want to say to you is that we want you to know that, as always, we are very grateful for your donations. And your donations, you can always send them to One Love Center by going to the website. You can go to onelovecenter.org, click on the donate button, and it's going to take you to the PayPal. The PayPal, you do your donation. Please remember that it doesn't matter how small or how huge the amount is, whether it's $1, whether it's $1,000, we welcome all of it. We are very grateful for all your donations. So now that you know that, and you open the gates of abundance in your mind and in your heart, you can go into our affirmation, our prayer of affirmation for abundance. And so the prayer of affirmation for abundance says, money as one of the many gifts of spirit is good. As I share my offerings, I know that I am actively creating a space to receive more gifts, more money, and more good. I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good works that this gives do in our center and in our world. And now it is, and so it is. Ashe, amen. Thank you so much, my dear ones, for giving to One Love Center, for always supporting us. We're very, very grateful for that. And so I would like to acknowledge the people that are here, for all of you that decided to be here today. Thank you so much for being here. We welcome you. We bless you, and continue to share this broadcast to all your friends and family. Share it on your social media pages, and know that there's so much that you can do to participate with One Love Center. Um, I think at this point, I would like to do announcements. So, first of all, One Love Center, we are requesting a member for technical assistance in managing our broadcast. So please contact us through one love at onelovecenter.org or 844-295-5155 and to be of service. And we thank you for saying yes. You can, it doesn't have to be a member. It might be somebody that you know that would love to service, that would love to do volunteer work. And so we have more than one way for you to give. Money is not just one of the ways that you give. You know, there's so many things that you can do. You have the ability, you have abilities, you have expertise that you can share with One Love Center. Your time is a way of sharing. So know that money is just one way, but there's other ways that you can give as well. So share your good and let others share the good too. Also, we have we have our class that we always are looking to have more participants. It's called Beyond Living Beyond Your Limits. And so if you're looking to learn how to live beyond your limits, make sure that you register for this class that we have. Connect with us so we can do that. Go into our website and we'll be able to help you. Just send us an email. Another thing that is happening, there is an invitation that we have a conference for the people of African descent New Thought Group, and we're celebrating our Soul Conference, Consciously Creating Change. That will be on August 1st to the 4th. And right there on the screen is the information where you can go so you can get more information about it. Just like Peggy said earlier, we have the conference for Las Americas. And this is one that I have been attending for many years now. And I believe in what we do there. It's just beautiful. You have to be at this place to know what I'm speaking about, because I can tell you a lot of things. And we have a lot of testimonials from past participants that you can go online. But we are sharing with you the website here at convention is www.conventionoftheamericas.com. Registrations are open now. The conference is August 6th to the 10th. Yet we have a workshop that is going to be an all-day workshop that is going to be on Monday the 5th. Please connect with us. We're here to support you in any of those two conferences that are going on. But what I can say to you, I can speak about the one that I've been part of, and that is this one. And so I know what I'm speaking about. I'm not just thinking, I know it. So that's why I'm inviting you to be part of it. And again, just click, find Peggy is one of the persons that you can connect directly with Peggy and find her information so she can direct you to whatever questions that you might have about the conference.
My name at Gmail.
Do you want to share that with them, Peggy?
Well, I just wanted to make it quick and easy. If you got my name on the screen, it's my name at gmail.com. Of course, you have to put the Y and the S together. PeggyShin@gmail.com. But put convention in the subject line.
You see how you see that is. So with that being said, I think that's it. Let's see what else is there. Oh, I know what else is there after the announcements. The closing prayer. And so, Peggy, would you like to do our closing prayer since I've been speaking for the last few minutes?
I'd be honored. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just allowing ourselves to accept all of the wonderful opportunities that we've been exposed to in this hour together. We know that our gratitude, excuse me, for being here and for being a part of something greater than we are by being here, and knowing that that greatness is ours to tap into, that boldness, that sacred audacity that is available to us as a channel for it, for that knower, for that spirit, for that everlasting love that we are the light for. And that light has been ignited, that spark has been ignited to give that light to the world as who we are and as whose we are, and allow that to be how we show up in our boldness, in our strength, in our conviction, in our knowingness that God has, or Spirit has, or the universe has, or however you call it, has our back. And in that gratitude for that knowingness, we just allow this to be released into the atmosphere of love, letting love do the work, letting love show up, letting love show us the how. Once we identify the what, we know what we want, we know where we are going, and we know how we are going to accomplish it by turning it all over to Spirit to have its way. And so it is.
And so it is, and now it is. Thank you. Thank you, Peggy, so much again
Thank
for
you.
saying yes to be here with us and for being an inspiration. Continue to be an inspiration to many of us. And continue to do the work that you're doing with the Convention of the Americas too. Such a beautiful ministry.